Bastian is the application manager at Peshkul Ultraviolet, and he's going to be talking to us from his vast experience of UVC disinfection and oxidation. As you can see, he supports key customers. He's really responsible for consulting on the application of UVC within a number of different industries. And today he's got a really fascinating presentation on how we can actually use this within the food industry. So Bastian, I'm handing over to you, and I'm bringing your camera online, please, so that everybody in South Africa can meet you. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Over to you.
So, I say hello to everybody, and thank you to invite me for this nice masterclass. Thank you very much, Gunnar, for this very good explanation about the UV, because I have something also placed in my presentation. How is the UV effect? And then I want to show some products. To introduce myself, I work for the company more than 18 years now, and I'm really in the area of the food industry for UV disinfection applications. So that means we have different applications where we can use UV. Typically, we said it's the surface disinfection, so like packaging material, conveyor belts, and so on, air disinfection, and water disinfection. There are the three typical applications where we can use that. So to begin, so I look if my slide is working. I think it's a little bit. One moment. Sorry. So now, yes. So Gunnar told us how it works, or what is UVC. This is only also a little bit same in my presentation. To remember, we work when we talk about UV radiation, or when we talk about UV disinfection, we use the wavelength 254 nanometers. So that means this is the best wavelength to go in an DNS. So if you see this part, you can see this one is the absorption curve of a microorganism, and this is the light we use. That means it is more than 90 or approximately 90% absorption of a microorganism of UV light, UVC. That means not that we have only a result of 90% disinfection. It means that the door is open approximately 90%. Simply words spoken, not really like a Professor Gunnar, but I hope you understand it also. So if we see the next, this is really good explained by Professor Gunnar. I think I have not more to say about, but there is something more what we have, and this is really interest. This is the lethal dosage we need for different bacteria. When we talk about UV disinfection, we mostly talk about 99.9% disinfection rate. That means 3 lots, and we can also have a result of more than 99.99%. But if you need more, sometimes you need a combination with other technologies. Let me make an example. You can use also peroxide. And this peroxide, using by UV, there is an activation. We create free open radicals, and this is perfectly against fungi and the earth. So bacterials and virus will be damaged really good by UV. And this is a table where you can see different microorganisms with the different lethal dosage you need in a second. That means milliwatt per centimeter square multiplied by second is the dosage. So you have the power of the lamp, and you have the time, and then the result of it is the dosage. When we talk about, we hear often the bad word listeria, and it's a really big word. So we see we have different, there are different parts. Some professors make tests, they have a lethal dosage of 42 milliwatt per centimeter square. You need to damage by 99.9% a listeria. This is the other one. That means we need approximately 52 milliwatt per centimeter square in 1 second to disinfect the listeria by 99.9%. So there is the other one, yeasts and fungi. There you can see if there is a big difference between the lethal dosage you need to kill. If we talk about Listeria, you remember, we need approximately 52 milliwatt per centimeter square to kill it. But if you talk about Aspergillus niger or Aspergillus flavus, you can see that you need many milliwatt per centimeter square more in a second. What is the result for us to know that? This is easy. If we have a lamp with a power, we have to know how long we have to radiate on the surface to kill the microorganism. That's typically a difference between packaging material disinfection and a surface disinfection like a conveyor or deboning line. But later on, I explain more. So if we have a higher dosage we need a longer time or more power. So to explain how is the difference, and it's not like a way like a professor does that, but this is for me really simple to explain why it's easier to disinfect bacteria and virus instead of yeasts and fungi. This is the UV sensitivity, and this is the microorganism. Let me say we have the DNA inside. If we have a bacteria or a virus, we only have a cell wall to get into the DNA. So that means we have only one door to pass. It's really an example. So if we have a yeast, so we have a knuckle more, that means we have two doors to go inside. And if we spoke about fungi, so we have also a pigmentation of the outside of the microorganism. So to understand it easy, it's more a reflection instead of an absorption. And now we go on to the products. I think this is really interesting part. And then we start really with our one of the really best seller in the UV product area. This is called Steribelt 2.0. This unit is a special unit for integration in different applications. So that means one of the biggest market for the UV disinfection here in Europe and all over the world. We have many partners all over the world. So is the conveyor belt disinfection. That means if you have a deboning line or transport belt, you have a really high risk of a cross-contamination of such kind of conveyors. During the working process, you have no chance to cleaning the belts. So you have only a chance to clean the belts during a break. And that means that you have the chance with UV, when you mount it on the underside of the conveyor, you can disinfect it really simple during a process. We have many independent tests and reports for the results of this disinfection during a working process. The Steribelt unit and the features of it to explain is only one high power lamp instead of 3 or 4 lamps. So this is a part of our product. We use this. I go back short. You see, we have only the small lamp and we have a metal part outside. And the inner side, there is a special flat lamp with a high power. We don't need a rack or a quarter with placed 3 or 4 lamps. We only use one lamp inside for disinfection. And this lamp has such kind of a good power so that you only have to mount one unit in a conveyor belt on the bottom side to disinfect the conveyor during the process. So if we see the different things, we have a waterproof and a rough design because we have this experience more than 13 years in this area that we work in the food industry, and we see and we hear about the results of our customers, and we hear also about what they talk, because we have to use a really rough design, especially in the meat industry for cleaning processes. This is really one of the important things. This unit don't have to be demounted during a water cleaning process. You can leave it in the machine or on the conveyor, and it's not a problem to use it during a cleaning process, a wet cleaning. And to inform, The sterile belt unit is not instead of a wet cleaning. It is a disinfection process during the working process and minimize the high risk of cross-contamination. Yes, a special shutter protection foil with increased transmission. What we meaning with that? So if you use glass inside a production, you need a special foil or splitter protection to save your company and the production. You cannot use it without the special foil. But what we do with our experience, this is that we create a special foil that have not such kind of a high transmission loss. What that meaning? A transmission loss is the loss of the transparency for UV radiation. If we use 254 nanometer, we have to take care that the light goes on the surface. If we have a high transparent loss, and this is typically with the standard foil, other companies use it for the splitter protection, then we have a problem with a less UV radiation and not so good results. Therefore, we have created a special foil that have not such kind of a high transmission loss. Never out of service concept. This is one of the important things in the food companies. We take care about our spare holding, and we take care that it's really easy to modify or to repair the module in a short way. So, what kind of application we use this module typically? Conveyor belt disinfection in the meat processing industry. Bottleneck sterilization in the beverage filling. Cap disinfection, that means you can mount it over a cap, a closing cap of a bottle, also for the beverage. Packing disinfection, disinfection of transport boxes, disinfection in machines, example, filling machines, risers, slicers, dicers, cutters, and so on. But there is something what's really important. If we talk about the disinfection of a conveyor, so we have a process that we go and go again with the radiation. So that means a multiplicated effect. If we talk about packing material disinfection, we have to take care that the dosage is just in time, short before filling. Let me make an example. If you have a yogurt cap and you use a UV light, you have to take care that short before filling, you have the right dosage. If you use a conveyor and it passes the lamp time by time, we have an additive process. The sterile belt is, we have the chance to sell it in different lengths. The length of a sterile belt covers the width of a conveyor, as example. So if you have a conveyor with a width of 280, so you can use the sterile 280, and so on and so on. Our products are produced with this high power lamp, and the lamp and the lifetime is approximately 1 year. Then you have to change. This is something what Gunnar says with the spare holding instead of chemicals for processes. This is really interesting that you have only 1 lamp a year to change. One important thing is the electrical part of UV lamp. If you integrate a UV lamp in your production, you have a wet cleaning. Therefore, you have to take care, and absolutely to take care that the electronic will not damage. But we know the food industry, mostly the meat industry, it's more than 80% of our business in the food industry with these UV lights, all the other also, but there is something explanation later. So the rough industrial power supply takes care about the cover of the electronic inside or for our module. So this is a really rough design. We have a membrane where the condensed water can go outside, and it's really good to use this one for covering the electronic part of the UV lamp. And then what we also do, we make some independent microbiological proofs, also with the CSCS by Valencia, so with our Dr. José Salas, our Spanish partner. He makes some trials also with some independent institutes. And this is some picture you can see. This is a conveyor belt during a process after 3 hours working. This is start without UV. During the process, after 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 15 passes, we have a radiation with UV. There you can see during the process that we minimize the chance of a cross-contamination because we minimize the microbiological load on a conveyor. So this is the spectral description. That means we use 254 nanometers, and there you see also the part how the UV light goes when you have to integrate it in a machine. But there's something what we can also answer every time as a partner together with PHT, that we talk about the integration, and it's easy to do. Let me make an example. This is a conveyor during the wet cleaning. This is something what we talk about. This is a zip cleaning process after processing. So you can see that the UV light doesn't have to demount on the conveyor, from the conveyor during a wet cleaning process. There you see the fork and the water, and it's easy to clean. Normally we have to say it's IP67 up, so it can be also IP69K, but this is something what we don't recommend. So we more said it's IP67. It's better for the cleaning process because this split protection foil can be damaged also by high pressure. So therefore is a special introduction to how to clean the Steribelt, but you can do it integrated. So this is the example for the cap disinfection for the beverage unit. So that means this is a part where we install the Steribelt, and it is for the sealing cap disinfection. Yes. Okay, this was the first product what we have, and typical part. But I go back short and make some informations about what can we do also, or which kind of applications we have. We can also use it in a packing material disinfection for a round filler. You know, the round fillers for the yogurt industry or the milk industry, you have some products where you have a round filling machine, and therefore you have really less space to integrate some parts of a UV disinfection. But there is a time problem because you have a really high-speed machine without space to integrate a UV disinfection unit. Therefore, you normally use a combination of this peroxide, what I said to the beginning of the presentation, and the UV light. First of all, you have a fork like from such kind of a peroxide unit, chemical, and then you have an activation of the UV. Later on, you create some free radicals, and these radicals will be damaged, as example, aspergillus or whatever. It's perfect against fungi. This is also what I forget to say on this paper. Okay, next product. It is the DTS 25/28 immersion lamp system. This unit can be used really easy for two different things. It is a system to use for surface and for water disinfection and for air disinfection. It's a special unit because it's a closed lamp with a high IP protection 68 and with some pressure. We can have a big pressure on it, on the quartz tube up to 10 bar, and the head part 2 bars. What we do with this typical unit, this unit can be integrated in a filling machine to clean the filling parts of a round filler, not the packing material, more the machine parts, to have it clean and safe for cross-contamination. You can also put it in a vessel, stainless steel, please, because you damaged, if you have plastic like PP, white or whatever, you can be damaged the material with UV. So you have to take care, if you use UV, that you every time have the surface sure that is UV resistant. But you have to know that not so much materials that are really UV resistant. That means you have to take care about the resistance. That means if you use stainless steel as a vessel for water, fresh water, iced water for meat process or sausage processes, you can use it in the vessel to minimize the microorganism. Therefore, we can make a calculation how many lamps you need for how many cubic meter water. And this is also an easy system to integrate in small machines, also for pharmaceutic processes, to disinfect the inner side of a machine, the filling area, and other parts. You can use it for slow machines for packaging. You can also use it for belts, but you see there is a difference between DTS and the Steribelt unit. You don't have this metal cover to have the radiation only on one side, because this means it's a 360 degrees radiation. Yeah, there are the features: fully watertight, robust industrial design without any treats, simple tool-free lamp replacement. That means you don't need any tool to change the lamp after the lifetime. Head part, it's industrial rough. We have from 12 up to 300 watt normal power, and we have also other ways to have more power inside or less. Module plug-and-play array system with many additional options. That means we can modify the system specially for different processes. Typical applications is water disinfection in tanks and reservoirs, surface disinfection, evaporators. This is also a really important thing what we have to say. If you have these cooling systems on your roof, these typical evaporators, you can integrate it, and it's not so much for the air disinfection, it's more for the surface disinfection. Let me explain. If you integrate such kind of a lamp in evaporator on the roof on your building, you have these lamellas inside. And now I come back to the bad word. Evaporator or cooling system is often a really big mess with listerias. So that means if you clean the surface inner side of a cooling system, you have the chance that you don't cross-contaminate the air they pass the lamellas. So that means if anybody, and I'm be sure that everybody from us sees a evaporator or cooling system during cleaning processes, if you look inside, you see what's happened. I will say you can see listerias, or you can see that because it's a really big biofilm, and therefore you can use specially this unit. Water disinfection, you can use it. Knife disinfection, slices and dices. This is really interesting because you can create a small tunnel. You can disinfect knives during working processes. It's not instead of the wet cleaning, but you can use it. Air disinfection in cooling standard storage rooms, and disinfection of inner side of large packing materials. This is also possible. This system can also be used in a big air duct for, then you have to mount many of these units for air disinfection. The unit and the technical data you can find in the presentation. There are different lengths and different power also. So there's also really the important point. On the left-hand side, you can see the lamp-safe shutter protection. That means that also this quartz tube is covered by a special lamp-safe foil. But I want to say something more about this lamp-safe foil because it's really interesting. Some people think that normal plastic is transparent for UV. It is not. So typically there are only 3 materials, simple set. It's quartz tube, it's quartz material, natural quartz glass, it's synthetic quartz glass, and such kind of material like a fluoropolymer. That means it's like Teflon, but our product or our special foil is another foil. That means it is a special fluoropolymer what we created, that we have not this high transmission loss what it's typically. We can also use for galvanic processes or other ones, we can use it in special plastic head parts instead of stainless steel. Okay, EMV version for high power lamps, it is also possible because normally we have the power supply approximately 3 meters in the distance of the lamp, because you need this, because normally you have this 230 voltage, then there is this kind of a power supply, and 3 meters later there's the UV lamp. That means if you need it longer because you want to integrate the power supply for the lamp inside a big box or inside a big cabinet, then we can use the lamp, or we can produce the lamp with a longer cable. It's shield against the EMV problems. This is also an example that we have all the drawings. If you want to integrate it, they can pass by our partner PHT. So that means that we can forward drawings, we can make the life easier for integration and so on. Because all our products are designed by ourselves, and so we have really deep information. So, okay, next product. It's also really interesting during this time. It is our UVC tunnel. It's a cooperation product together with iTech von Matek Hygiene. So that means we produce a product. We bring inside our knowledge about the UV, and the iTech von Matek Hygiene company brings inside the knowledge about machine manufacturing. This special tunnel is one of the powerful UV tunnel that are placed at the moment, because we have made some tests with customers, especially in listeria issues in South America, where we make some sausage radiation after the fermentation process. Later on more, I show you. But then, first of all, I will explain the product. Product characteristic: we have a belt speed from 1 up to 11 meters per minute. We have a UV dosage higher than 100 millijoule per centimeter square when you have a speed approx of 5 meters per minute. When you remember, or if you remember, that listeria needs approximately 50 millijoule per centimeter square to disinfect, then you know that you killed 2 times more if you use this tunnel. If you have a dosage for higher than 100 millijoule per centimeter square, you disinfect it by 99.9% in the half time when they pass the tunnel. And this is also for the case study what I show you on the next pages. You can see what's happened with this dosage. Okay, high performance UV technology. It's a special patent pending system because we make a shadow-free radiation, because we use special rolls, and these rolls take care that no shadow will be during the transport. It is easy if you have a tunnel system that you have on the top some lamps and on the side, but there is the other problem. If you put some things on the conveyor, it will be a shadow between the mesh. And therefore we use a special roll system where the lamps are integrated and we have a shadow-free radiation. Simple operation, cleaning and maintenance, low consuming cost or spare costs. Okay, for which kind of application we use it? Packaging material disinfection, disinfection of packed foods. That means we don't, so this is one of the important things, and I think I have something to make clear. UV can used on many applications, but the most applications are surfaces that are straight in contact with the food. Food, it is not allowed, especially in Europe, and I know also from your country, that it's not allowed to disinfect directly meat or sausages. But what you can do is you can radiate food and vegetables and water. Some kind of hard cheese where you don't eat the outside of the cheese because it's like a packaging. Okay, if we use this one, we have a raw sausage disinfection, but in a packed way. Disinfection lock, that means from the low care up into the high care area. if you have a storage holding and bring it into the high care area, in the producing area, then it's a good way to use it for packed materials inside the production room. Product disinfection, raw material disinfection. Okay, the length of this tunnel is approximately 5 meters. You need 400 voltage and you have a consumption of 4,000 watts. So that means 4 kilowatt for the power. That is, let me say, it is not really such kind of a power you need. It is really less power, what you have to have for really good disinfection. Okay, this is an overview. There you can see the inlet of the tunnel. This is a zone where we have and what we need, that nobody will be irradiated, because this middle part, this is the place, there are placed the UV lamps. And these UV lamps are really have a high power. And this high power cannot go outside, and therefore we need a really safety process. We have this 2 parts, in and outlet, where we save against the UV radiation when people or employees stands in the front of the machine. Okay, there you see the dimensions. Also, you can see later on in the presentation. But therefore, this is really important because we have a SPS and a HMI, and there is a touch panel. You can change the speed. You can change the lamp time, you can change many things, but we have normally 2 areas. For a front worker, they can change the speed, but also for automatically start and so on, we have different parts where we can make with a password that we are safe, that we don't change the speed of the machine and the results and so on. Yeah. This is the spectral radiation, and then we see the dosage of the machine by 5 meters per minute is more than 100 millijoule per centimeter square as a dosage. Okay, for example, this is a small case study. This is a sausage after the fermentation process in a packed way, short before slicing. This tunnel has to be used by 2 persons. This is really important. Why? You have a, let me say it is bad, but I have to say it like that. You have a dirt side and a clean side. You have a low care and you have a high care side. So that means that one worker, like this worker now, have the dirt parts, it is meat or a sausage after a fermentation process. The surface of this packaging is really bad. And many people know that, because when we talk about UV disinfection, we have to speak open words, and we have to look in our eyes and say, okay, this is fact, this is the microbiological load on the surface, and what should I do? So we have to talk with our customers, and we have to talk with all the people in open words, that we know what kind of microorganism we have and what against we fight. So, okay, this company has a really high problem with listerias, and they make some trials, and they have such kind of good results that they have a minimized of 99.99%. That means more than 4 logs. And some tests after radiation, they have so good results that they can count any bacterials or any microorganism like listeria. So, okay, I put it on the belt. And then it goes inside the machine, the inlet zone. And there's another worker. He stands in the front of a slicer. And this slicer is specially normally used this metal table without this tunnel. So that means after the fermentation process, the sausage will be directly put on this table, and then will be open the peel and then put it into the slicer. But now, this table will be cleaned time by time by chemical processes, and the worker also clean his hands. And if they get the sausage, they can open it on a clean table, and then he put it into the slicer on this side. And this surface have to be cleaned during the process, but he gets a really clean clean surface, because he don't have any cross-contamination during the opening, because he changed the side of the sausage, and if they change when he open it and he changed the side, he have a really high risk from the outside contamination against to the inner side if they don't use such kind of a system. If they use this UV tunnel, they have a really absolutely disinfected surface and can be sure that he don't contaminate this table and contaminate the product. Okay, but this is not everything, because if we talk, and this is one of the most questions we get, what is with the shelf life? If we use UV for a surface, for a packaging material disinfection, for let me say for an surface disinfection on a conveyor, on a deboning line, what's happened with the shelf life? And this is something what I have to say, it's really important. All our disinfection is a summary. It's absolutely a summary of many, many disinfection things. That means it begins from the cleaning, like Sepp told us. So you have to be sure that the employees are clean. You have to be sure that many, many things inside and process are really clean. That means it's only a part of the process. And you need to be sure that the surface, that the employees, that the air, that many, many things are really clean. And then you can talk about shelf life, because it's a summary what you have to do for safe production areas. Okay, and this is the part how to explain surface or air disinfection. This is a one really important point for disinfection in a production area. It's called like UVC 500. This UVC 500 is an air disinfection device for production and storage rooms. It means inner side there is placed an UV lamp. There is a filter and another filter on the back side, and the air will suck on the one side because there's a special fan inside with a turbulence of approximately with an airflow of 500 cubic meter per hour. And that means that it sucks the air inside, then it will be past the UV lamp. The UV lamp is fully covered, that nothing can happen with the employees or the workers inside the production. And then the clean air will come outside. For explaining, if you use a conveyor with a clean belt, because if you use a sterile belt for the surface disinfection, or you use such kind of a tunnel for the sausage disinfection after the fermentation process, if you use the UV light and you put it on the top or over the conveyor or over the machine like this disinfection tunnel, you have like a laminar floor with clean air. That means you have also to take care about the production air. It can be also a combination, because when I talk about the DTS system for integration evaporator systems, there is the thing that if you clean the air during the process with such kind of a system, you have to think about, hey, what is with my evaporator? Is it clean? Or is it like a really high risk of a cross-contamination because we have a high microbiological load on the lamellas? So it's also a combination and one part of an air disinfection unit. This is easy to install, this UVC 500, but you also can think about a typical complete air disinfection for the big RLT systems of your building. Okay, this is easy to install. There you can see a storage holding for sausages. It's a storage holding. There are placed two modules, and the air will change, and it will be sucked on this side, and the clean air comes out on this side. So that means we have a cleaning during time by time. And what we do is normally, if we know the size of a room, the cubic meter and the square meter, we can calculate how many units you need for your room if you have some problems or if you need it for the disinfection of the air to minimize the cross-contamination of the air. There's one point I ever asked, many questions I get for that. So typically the people said, hey, you spoke about air disinfection, but the microorganisms can fly and they are not in the air. But you have to think about, we have particles inside the air, we have aerosols inside the air. And this is meaning that we need a part where the microorganism is on, and it will fly with this part. It's not fly by themselves, that's clear, but you have a good chance to minimize the microbiological load in the air. Okay, this is inside the production room, and this is something what I want to explain. There you can see these coolers, and typically this part of the lamella, I don't know exactly if you see my mouse or if you see the pointer. There you can see normally it can be integrated in UV lamp to disinfect the front of these lamellas. Okay, this is easy to use. You have a small touch panel. You can use it. It is usable for 5,000 cubic meter per hour, and therefore we have to think about if you want to have to disinfect 2 times an hour or 3 times an hour. That depends on the microbiological load and your situation inside your company. Okay, features is a rock plane design, level, high test, highest UV dosage with just 1 lamp. We don't have 4 lamps instead of, we only have 1 lamp instead of 4. So typical applications: air, meat processing, cheese processing and storage rooms, industrial bakeries, and cosmetic companies industry. The lamp replacement is easy, and you have an hour counter to see when you have to change the lamp, and then you are on the easy way or in the easy side, safe side. Okay, there you can see the dimensions. You see the power. The nominal power is 500 watt. There is a really high powerful lamp inside. The weight is approx 30 kilogram. It's easy to handle, and the lifetime is 12,000 hours. That means 8,000 hours is approx a year if you use it 24 hours a day, and that is what we recommended. So we said, okay, it's the best way. It works all the time. Then you have to change it once and a half a year. Okay, but I talk also about the big air disinfection, and that means if we install it in a really, really big room. So, and there is a part what I want to explain. Now we have another situation all over the world. It's this COVID-19 issue. And this is something what we have to talk about when we talk about air disinfection. And this is also not only interest for production areas, it's also absolutely interest for the areas of the buildings, of the offices, of doctors' rooms, or whatever. Okay, if we talk about big buildings, we have normally an air duct system where we use fresh air, or we have a cooling system inside for the offices. So if we use this and bring a circulation inside, we have to take care for the disinfection. Therefore, we can produce modules and really big plants for RLT systems to integrate UV lamps in the big air duct systems. That makes sure that we have a really clean air. It comes inside big buildings. Also production rooms, but I make a short part that COVID-19, that means this is, let me explain. There's something what I want really to explain. At the moment, the UV business is not only focused in the industry. That means now 10 weeks, we get so much inquiries during every day about the disinfection of virus like COVID. That means it's a bad word, COVID-19. But what we have to say is that UV 254 nanometer is also the same like another virus to disinfect. That means it's for us or for our technology, it's really simple to disinfect this COVID-19. So that means now we get many inquiries about different applications for surfaces in doctors' offices, for surfaces in medical rooms in hospitals, for surface disinfections in production rooms, in storage holdings, in where entrances and outlets. So we have many questions about what can we do that we save our employees when we get some packages in the wear entrance. There are many ways to do that, and this is the next part what I want to explain what we have. Okay, air disinfection, we close. There's another product. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I place it on the wrong way, I see. We also make disinfection in different products together with PHT. That means we have the shoe sole cleaner, and it's for dry disinfection. That means it is not cleaning for the shoes, but the brushes. For dry brushes, we can clean the brushes and we don't have any cross-contamination. But therefore, I think Dylan and Seb can give you more information about this product. Sorry that it's on the wrong place. Okay, back to COVID. Yes, we have also the part that we can install small units called Sterisol, where we can radiate surfaces in small rooms, laboratories, in areas for like slots. So like from the low care, a lock from the low care into the high care area, where people can change his clothes, can change the shoes. So we can, during is nobody inside, we can make a disinfection of the surfaces. That's called Sterisol. We can put it really easy. We only need 230 voltage, and we can put the level of the microorganism in a low part if we use the surface and the air disinfection combination called Sterisol. Hello? Something happens.
Yes, we're still here and listening. I'm just not sure, Bastian, why. Let's just see where Linda is. Thank you very much for that very interesting. So she's back.
Yeah.
She's back. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Sorry that I hold on my presentation, but I cannot move.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so I tested.
Are we back, Bastian?
No. Yeah, I'm back, but the presentation doesn't move at the moment.
Okay, I've got it on my side. We're on the Sterisol slide. Is that okay? Can I leave it there?
Yeah, 100%. I see the same, but I cannot move it like the past.
Okay, good. Never mind. I'll correct it on my side. You continue with your discussion.
Okay.
Over to you.
So
continue.
Yeah. I continue, but I need the next page.
That one?
It doesn't work from my side. Sorry.
And not moving at all? Okay.
Not at all.
No. All right. Let me just see what I can do on this side. It's definitely moving on my side. Adele?
No, it's not moving on our side. No, it's definitely not moving, Lynn.
Okie dokes. I'm not entirely sure why. Let me see if, and now, have we got it?
No, it's still on the Sterisol one.
Yeah, it's Sterisol. As I told you, from the low care into the high care area where nobody's inside. There's different ways to use it directly, from the direct disinfection from the upper to the downside. Then we can use it for a wall mounting unit, and we can use it for the indirect disinfection in high rooms where we have enough space in the top of this unit. So that means we can use it for the disinfection in different areas. But please take care about surface damages. That means plastic is a really is not good resistance. Okay. What we have also, it's a product like the small brother of, or the small sister of our UVC 500. It's called UVC 100. It's specially for areas, for waiting rooms, for operation theaters, and it's an air disinfection system using by a UV lamp inside and a fan. And you can use it specially also for offices in big companies where many people are placed. And we have a good result against microbiological disinfection and virus disinfection, similar like COVID. And then there's the last product I want to show you. This is a special unit. It is used in hospitals, storage rooms, incoming and outgoing freight rooms, operation rooms, and medical practice. So that means in doctors' rooms. So you can use this unit specially for a surface disinfection in a really short time. That means this unit will be placed in a special room where we can use it for the surface disinfection. As an example, it is used at the moment for hospitals mostly. That means that this unit is placed in the areas where people are infected by COVID. So that means when the people are out of the room, short before a new person comes inside, we can make a disinfection of the surfaces. But you can also use it for your industrial processes because it works really fast and it works really well against the microbiological load on surfaces. And let me say, a room of approximately a size of 30 square meters can be disinfected by 20 minutes. Yeah, okay, this is COVID and these are the products. And yes, now I'm finished. You see the issues was short before finishing.